Hi, everybody. I see people are still logging in right now. Hello. Oh, I see a little message over in the chat. Thanks for writing that, Kira.
Morning.
I'll let people slowly kind of come on and come in, but I just wanted to kind of pop on early and say hi to everybody real quick. Make sure that you guys can hear me. A couple thumbs up would be awesome. Cool. So I have a mic on. I'm not using it yet because I want to be able to converse with you guys back for a moment if possible. And then right before we begin, I'll have you guys just all make sure yours are on mute. And then I'm going to hook it up to the mic so that hopefully when we're moving around, you guys can just hear me a little bit better. So that's kind of my plan. But this is so exciting. I'm seeing some warriors on here. Let's see, we've got Janet, Nicole, Kristen, Kira, Rebecca, Lisette, Leslie, Val, Angela, two Angelas. Hi, Angelas. Barb, Paula. This is cool. All right, and I've got the, Kira, I'm glad you're on here. I've got the IG Live all ready to go as well. Is it okay for me to do it in landscape?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Landscape.
And then you have to figure out.
Welcome, Lisa. I'm gonna wait to start the IG Live because it's an hour on there, so I'll kind of. I'm gonna stick on. We're gonna stay under an hour though. I'm gonna be good with time today. I promise. Valerie, you're gonna be my time check, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Good. We'll keep each other honest.
I can hear you anyway. In fact, let me go grab. I'm gonna go grab a watch too and just set that up. So you guys hang on for a second. Hey, can I grab a watch? I don't know about you guys, but I'm finding the most fun with this is peeking in everybody's houses, so I appreciate the videos on. Hi, Jan. Is it Leizel? Leizel? Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. Kira, do you know if the other Kira is joining us?
I believe she is.
Okay, I was gonna give her like a minute just to, you know, if she wanted to say anything to people as they come on. So yeah, we're gonna wait a little bit longer because I know, if you guys don't know, Kira Bixby is up in the corner, or she's probably different in one of your screens, but she is kind of like the magic behind how all of this stuff is coming together and making it to you. So we can give her a little like thank you for setting all this stuff up along the way. And then obviously Kira, the owner, there's two Kiras, might be on to kind of come say hello as well in a little bit.
It's a little confusing, two Kiras.
Yeah. So this is what I have planned, you guys. I don't know if we're gonna get to it all. These are my little, this is like my little behind the scenes little ideas. And my biggest thing of inspiration for today's class, besides just kind of obviously maybe a little bit of the Pose Wild thing, is this right here. I wanna see a show of hands. Who's read this? And for those of you that don't have video on, you're more than welcome to put your video on. If you don't want to, you can hide out too. I'm cool with that. But, so I might read a passage from this guy as our little intro as well in a moment. I'm gonna give it 2 more minutes if you guys are okay with that, and then we'll kind of get going. So, oh, how are you guys feeling lately? So. I feel like every day I wake up and I'm like, let's see what's gonna happen today with my personality. Some days I'm like, yeah, I'm raging to go. And some days lately it's just like, nope, not happening. So hi, Kira, welcome.
Good morning. Yay,
I was-
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I wanted to give you a second to like say hi to everybody. Kind of just been chit-chatting for a minute.
Hi. Hi, Janet. Hi, Lizette. Hi, Kira. Hi, Valerie. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. It's our first class ever. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Hi,
and I'm
everybody.
I'm
Anyway,
waiting-
sorry.
I
Handing it over to you.
go ahead.
Handing back to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you want to talk about your kombucha real quick too. Well, we've got, I don't know if people had heard.
Oh, I think we're just kind of figuring that out right now. But we did our first kombucha talk on Thursday. It was really fun. It was just a handful of us. But we're kicking off a series called Kombucha Talks, and we are coming up with new ideas and things we want to share with you. So email marketing@KiraGrace.com if there's something you want to know more about. Some of the ideas we've been toying with is Michelle Marshallton on how to get published. And I'm toying with like how to get your Facebook business going. So things that we think might be interesting to you, and we'll just do it, every once in a while. I'm not sure how often, maybe once a month with like a big kombucha talk. But that's all I got. Liz, back to you, girl.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Rising Together series that, as I mentioned, Kira, the owner, and Kira, our behind the scenes awesome Chica, who's up with us as well, have helped us put together. And they basically, in the last couple months, we've been trying to find ways of just staying connected and staying united. And us as KiraGrace ambassadors, how do we give back? Kira wanted to know, how does she give back? So this was put together. I'm gonna hit live on the IG thing too, all right? Ready? Now it's getting scary because there's like 40,000 people that could pop on whenever they want. Ah, here we go. Nope, that's not what I wanted. There's a live button. All right. So again, welcome, KiraGrace Rising Together series. My name is Liz Corwin. I have the honor and the pleasure of teaching the first class of many. We've got some other KiraGrace Warrior ambassadors on here as well that are going to be teaching, and this is going to be every Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. We're each going to have a different theme, different focus, so please feel free to kind of tune in, stay for as long as you can. For those of you at IG, stick around for 10, 15, 20 minutes. Maybe you just want to hang out with us for a little bit. The class will be available. If you're with us via Zoom, the links will still be available. IGTV, obviously, 24 hours you've got. So today's class, I called it Where the Wild Things Are. And as I mentioned, we each got to kind of make our own theme. Or what we wanted to do. We had the creative license, let's say, to do this. And we were allowed to kind of pick to, if we wanted to do kind of a donation class or if people wanted to donate. So if you are donating every single week, the different teachers might put something out there. I'm going to be doing any donations this week to something that I started with my yoga retreats, which is a veteran sponsorship program. So I run international yoga retreats, and I take often, when I can, a veteran for free with me on these retreats to everywhere around the world. So if you are practicing with us, if you want to, you definitely don't have to, but if you'd like to, there will be links available later for how to donate to that veteran sponsorship yoga retreat program. So that's kind of where I come from, my background. I'm still in the military to this day, but now I'm here with you guys to do some yoga. So back to where the wild things are. It is a time where, I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling a ton of constriction, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of just kind of closing off, right? We kind of are getting a little bit like protectionism of like, this is mine. Okay, what do I have? Do I have enoughness? Safety and security. And I find that for me, I feel this a lot, not only in the legs and lower back and grounding, but also in my heart space. I've been feeling just a lot of like wanting to kind of like hold on to the reins of what I can still keep control of. So where the wild things are is kind of about how do we use this, not fight it, but use these feelings that we've been going through and grow from them and kind of use it to break back open. And maybe break back open in a new way that shares a lot more of ourselves authentically. And so if you would allow me, I would just like to read a line from one of my favorite kind of wild thing books or two, and then we're gonna start flowing. All right, so does that sound good? You guys allow me to do that? Cool, okay. So you can come into a comfortable seat. You can come into simple cross-legged. I'm gonna stay close to the camera first before I make my way onto the mat, just so you guys can all hear me. And for those of you on Zoom, if you guys don't just mind muting yourselves and staying muted, I'm gonna just check in, set this up so that the microphone will work. Here's pretty well, so okay, that should be it right now. All right, so take a comfortable seat. If you'd like to gently close your eyes, you may. If you'd rather keep your eyes open and just kind of soften the gaze out in front of you, I invite you to do that as well. And we'll just take a moment to kind of find that seat and find that grounding. As I mentioned, this is a time of a lot of first chakra, and if you're familiar with the chakras, it's kind of our sense of safety and security and root and base, and it's kind of been a little bit, let's just say, uprooted lately. So take a moment just to feel into the sit bones, feel into the legs, feel into the heaviness. And I want you to really allow gravity to kind of take over here for a moment. Just surrender a bit to it. And then from that place of grounding, from that place of connection to the earth beneath you, you might even visualize kind of a root system starting to grow down into the earth, deeper and winding and making its way and really implanting yourself into this space. And as you find those roots kind of growing down, maybe you see them starting to intertwine and mingle with others. That sub-level kind of root system of connection, something that many of us have been looking for more lately. But it's always there if we just simply connect back down to it. From that grounding, from that honoring of gravity, feel into the sit bones, feel into any part of your body that is touching the ground. And from that space, start to just rebound up through the spine, almost like a little vine making its way. It's like Max kind of ending up on that island with the wild things, where the trees grew, the vines took over, and all of a sudden he was in this deep, dense forest. So I want you to see that kind of traveling back up from the roots you created through the body. You might even move left and right a little bit just to kind of connect to it. Up through the back of the shoulders, the back of the neck, and all the way out through the crown of the head. All the while reconnecting back down to the roots and finding your source from there. You can start to deepen the breath without needing to force it. I'm going to read you a quote from this book. There's a couple kind of I've laced together as a little bit of our inspiration for where the wild things are today. It is play, not properness, that is the central artery, the core, the brainstem of creative life. The impulse to play is an instinct. No play, no creative life. Be good, no creative life. Sit still, no creative life. Speak, think, act only demurely, little creative juice. It is also imperative to not strive too hard, to not believe too deeply, that if one acts just right, if one manages to tie down all the itches and twitches of the wildish creatura, that one can actually pass for a nice, restrained, subdued, and demure lady woman. It is that kind of acting, that kind of ego wish to belong at all costs that knocks out the wild woman connection in the psyche. Then, instead of a vital woman, you have a nice woman who is declawed. If you have ever been called defiant, incorrigible, forward, cunning, insurgent, unruly, rebellious, you're on the right track. Wild woman is close by. If you've never been called these things, there is yet time. Take a really deep breath in through your nose. And just open up the mouth and really sigh it all out. And just kind of let anything that brought up just slip out and away. And we'll do that again. Full up completely. Part the lips, open up the mouth, and big exhale, sigh it out again. Trying to follow the breath all the way to its base. One more time. Inhale fully. This time, hold the breath at the top. Take another sip of air in. And then part the lips, open up the mouth, and biggest exhale yet, sigh it out, force the breath out, just release wild. I don't care if you stick out your tongue, make noises, all the way to its base. And then drop your fingertips down on either side of you and just kind of claw into the earth for a moment with your fingertips, getting back into the dirt, getting back into the roots from this place, kind of finding and honoring that wildish nature in all of us that sometimes needs to be let out in order for us to find that place of stillness, that place of peace, and that place of calm. So as you grip into the earth, grip into the ground, just again, feel that connection, see it to each other, see it to our community, our families, our tribes, and then take a big, beautiful breath in, sweep your arms up overhead, allowing the palms to touch, and then gently drawing them down into heart center. Taking a moment to here to set any intention that is close to you today, anything that's bubbling up, letting all the contents of the mind just kind of drop down into the stillness of the heart and seeing what wants to be released. From that place, take a deep breath in. Bow your chin, just kind of seal your intention within you for guidance and motivation and love throughout your practice, that you keep coming back to it today. And then gently flutter your eyes open, and I'll slowly meet you on your mats. So we'll come over onto the knees, and I have 2 blocks nearby. I don't know if I'm necessarily gonna need them or want them, but you can have them kind of around. We might use 1 or 2 of them. I can actually grab this guy real quick. So on your knees, go ahead and tuck your toes. And tucking our toes has a way of starting to open up the back line of the body, all that connective tissue up through the feet, the back of the calves, the back of the hamstrings, even all the way into the lower back. And so if you need to kind of peek down and even pull your baby toe out, and make sure that they're all kind of released there. And then wrap your right arm on top of your left, almost like the elbows are going to want to land on top of each other. Give yourself a nice big hug, all right? Since we can't hug other people, we can hug ourselves. Wrap your arms around, and then let's take a deep breath in. We're going to lift the elbows up and come into kind of a cat-cow. And then on the exhale, draw the elbows down deeply in towards your belly and kind of curl into yourself like a little roly-poly or armadillo. Inhale, take them back up. And exhale, slowly draw it in. And these first initial movements, just to kind of let the breath become that metronome of the rest of the practice. So that even as we layer things on, we've kind of created this pace to check back in with. And one more time, inhale, arms reach. And exhale, squeeze the breath out, roll in. Lift back up, and let's switch the arms. Left arm on top of right. Give yourself another hug. So I've heard it said that we're supposed to have 8 hugs a day. 2 at least, unless you've gotten more. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, draw it in. A few more just like that. Inhale. And you can make this really dramatic with the neck getting involved, squeezing it in, maybe even trying to take the forehead down towards the knees. Let's take 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze it all out. Good. And then lift back up through center. Bring your hands out in front of you. Just come into a nice simple tabletop, shoulders over the wrists. And I like to claw into the mat here, right? So it's all about the wide thing. So we're going to kind of claw into the earth with our fingertips. On this cat-cow, When we drop the belly down, open the heart forward and take that breath in. Try to draw the palms and the knees towards each other. So the back of the skull and the tailbone want to try to touch. And then on the exhale, press the hands away from the knees, like you could spread them out apart, chin into chest, maybe even look up at your navel. A few more just like that. Just kind of drop it down. Start to make this really organic. So just following your own breath, letting go of any rules or need to make this look a certain way. Maybe your hips get into it. Maybe you start to find a little bit of kick the can, which is that left to right kind of action of the rib cage, kind of up and over and then down. And just kind of scribble with the body. So even me, you don't even have to listen to my rules right now. Just kind of listen to your own inner wild thing. Maybe there's a press of the hips backwards to the right. And then you sweep it around to the left. Really kind of making this dramatic in every single way. And just scribbling on your mat. So often when we get older, we don't play enough, we don't doodle enough, we don't draw for the sake of just making something that doesn't make sense, even with our bodies. Good. And then go ahead and press your hips all the way back to your heels. Just find yourself in a child's pose for a moment. Reconnect with the earth, reconnect with the palms. Next breath in, come all the way up into cat pose, chin into chest. Exhale, drop the belly, look forward. Inhale back into cat. And exhale back into child's pose again, just kind of finding that wave of the breath, initiating it with the inhale, up. Exhale, drop. Inhale, cat. And exhale, child's pose. Good. Inhale, come all the way back up into table this time. We'll draw the elbows back and start to lower our chest and the chin towards the earth. If that's a little bit too much, walk your hands forward, keep the spine nice and long, and lower yourself down that way. I'm going to take the chest and chin down. And just pause here for a moment, cinching the belly in. The next breath in, magnetize the sit bones back towards the knees. So it's like the pelvis starts to tilt down and then the belly lowers. Take your fingertips out wide onto the mat. Go ahead and make cupcake fingertips, or some people call them kind of like little spider claws. Just the fingertips touching the ground, like your favorite decorated cupcakes kind of underneath your palms and you're trying not to crush it. Draw the shoulders back. Now pause here for a moment and puff up the back of the shoulder blades like you could spread them left and right and straight up. Zip up through the belly, cinch in through the waist, lift the left leg, take it back and out to the left. Lift the right leg and take it back out to the right. Good, now pressing into the fingertips, elbows straight up towards the sky. Start to puff up through the back of the rib cage first. Then the last piece is the shoulders roll back and the heart kind of slingshots forward. Take a deep breath in. And then in your exhale, kind of ripple all the way back down. We're going to do that again. If you know that you have a little bit more room in your back or you're a little bit more flexible in that area, you can walk your fingertips back a little bit. Same idea. Puff up through the back of the rib cage first. Draw navel up towards your sternum. And then the last part is roll the shoulders back and then slingshot the heart up and forward. And exhale, slowly release down. One more time. Inhale, ripple up. Last part, heart slingshots up. And exhale, ripple down. Take your hands next to you, tuck into the toes, come back up and through your table, and then keep the toes tucked, so even peek back at that baby toe. We'll hover the knees off the ground for a moment, and then starting with the inner thighs, lift the inner thighs up and back as you push the hands forward and come into your first downward facing dog. You can pedal it out here. Anything that kind of feels appropriate. Again, just let yourself kind of scribble and doodle with your own practice here. Remember, we're declawed today, so. Good. Slowly come into a neutral place. Inhale, lift the heels up super high. Starting with the belly, suck it up towards the sky. All right, so belly towards the back of the body. And then ripple like a wave all the way forward into your plank pose. Pause here in plank just for a moment. Maybe you feel the heat kind of kick on. And then soften the knees, inner thighs up and back, push the ground forward, come back into down dog. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale up the heels, ripple all the way forward into plank. Exhale, hover the knees, shift it back. 1 more time. Inhale, heels lift, ripple. Exhale, shift back, down dog.
Good. This time, stay in down dog. Lift the heels up, and then drop the heels over to the right. Knees are going to point to the left. Big bend into the knees. And then bow out through the left side of the body. So the whole left rib cage, from left fingertips to left hip, drawing away from one another. I even like to kind of cupcake or tent up into my left fingertips. Just let your butt get kind of saggy off to the right for a moment. Like it's a ripe fruit kind of hanging off a tree. And then go ahead and come back through center. Let's take the heels to the left, knees to the right, big bend, and open up through the right side, lateral side of the body. You can even tent up into those fingertips for a moment. Inhale through center, one more time, each side. Knees to the left, heels to the right. Inhale up and through center, heels to the left, knees to the right. Good, inhale, come up through center and downward facing dog. Exhale, drop the knees, hips to heels, take it back and just pause in child's pose. Recenter, reach, catch the breath. Take 2 more full breaths, just like that. Inhale. And exhale. Filling up completely, even in the back of the body. And rinsing it out. Good. Come back up and through your tabletop. Tuck those toes, lift the knees, downward facing dog. Take your right leg up to the sky. Keep the hip closed at first, just for a moment. Toes point straight down towards the earth. Then go ahead and bend the knee. Open up the hip, stack the right hip on top of the left. Keep drawing the outer left hip back though, and then I want you to take a big bend in the left knee. It's almost like you were trying to take the belly all the way down to that thigh for a moment. Just kind of feel that bend without keeping that left leg super straight. And then slowly re-straighten into the left leg, bring the right knee into the nose. However you need to, get that foot up in between the hands. So I'm gonna flex into the foot and see if I can put my heel down first, but maybe it's just a point of getting it up there somehow. Drop your back knee down. I'm gonna keep my back toes tucked for now. Inhale, take your arms up. I'm gonna reach over, hold on to the left wrist, take a deep breath in, lengthen from the left fingertips all the way down, back down into the left knee, and then rebound that energy up through the left arm. Start to hinge it over to the right. And only go as far as you need to. It's early on, so we don't really need to go far to start to feel this and open up into those areas. And then bring it back up through center. Let's switch the wrists. Hold on to the right wrist. Lengthen down first, and then lift up through the right side and take it over to the left. Inhale, come back up through center. Come into goalpost arms, spread those elbows. So I had to re-look obviously at the book Where the Wild Things Are, and the guys are always running around like this, right? Like the wild things are always like running around like this. So I want you to like imagine that book from your childhood right here, right? Like the wild things, little claws out. As the elbows draw down, zip up front of the belly, so pubic bone kind of lifts up towards the sternum. Sternum lifts up as the elbows draw down. So we pull down to lift up. One more deep breath in. Exhale, hold. Inhale, arms reach. And then exhale, take the fingertips down, just kind of sprinkle them next to the right foot. Tuck into the back toes if they're not already. Lift the back knee, walk your hands forward, stay high up on the fingertips. Shift the weight into the right foot, take the left leg long. Big bend into the right knee. Lengthen the sternum forward while the inner left thigh, so that's the inside of that left thigh, lifts up. So we're not opening the hip at first. Reach back with the toes, reach forward with the crown, and then very slowly take the hands to the earth, left foot back, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels, ripple all the way forward into plank. Exhale, bend the knees, shift it back, down dog. One more time, just like that, lift the heels, ripple. Exhale, bend the knees, down dog. Take your left leg up to the sky. Keep it hip closed at first, toes pointing down. You can even kind of peek up at the toes, lift from the inner left thigh up. And then go ahead and bend the knee, open up the hip without letting your right hip kind of pop forward towards your right shoulder. So keep drawing the outer right hip back. And then from this place, bend into the right knee. So it's like you're kind of on a springboard, like you were an animal or a little jaguar kind of waiting in the treetops. Lift the inner left knee a little bit more, bend deeper into the right knee. Re-straighten the right leg, left knee into chest. Step it forward however you can get it between the hands, or flex into the foot, maybe try and put the heel down first, then the toes. Release the back knee. Inhale, arms reach. And exhale, just pause. We'll reach over and take hold of the right wrist this time. And you can really feel that kind of line of energy on the right side with the right knee pointing down. So try to push the right knee even further down into the earth, and then feel it lengthen up the right side of the body as you start to hinge over to the left. You can draw the right shoulder back ever so slightly. It's going to want to kind of creep forward. And I don't even care how deeply bent you are in this front knee. Inhale back up to center. Switch the wrists. Let's take it over to the right. Inhale up through center. Our little wild thing again. Take the elbows wide. Draw the elbows down. Scissor the legs towards each other like you're gathering energy up through the earth right now, your sense of source. Kind of draw it up and through towards the navel, and then slingshot the heart up as the elbows come down. Maybe you peel it back ever so slightly. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, sprinkle the fingertips down. Tuck into the back toes, lift the back knee, walk it forward. Keep a big bend in this left leg as you shift forward, right leg lifts. Really lengthen the spine, so super long spine here. Maybe a deeper bend in that left knee. Lift from the inner right thigh and take a breath in. And breath out, lengthen. Good, and then very slowly, step backwards with the right leg, step backwards with the left, downward facing dog. Lift the heels, inhale, ripple all the way forward into plank. This time, drop the knees, either lower all the way down or you can lower chest and chin. I'm gonna opt for the chest and chin. If you've got a chaturanga in your practice, you might take that. And then again, sit bone's gonna magnetize to the back of the knees, ripple forward into cobra or up dog. And then at your own time, take it back, downward facing dog. Breath in. And a deep breath out, just settle. And again, inhale. And exhale. Take the right leg up to the sky. This time, immediately bend the knee, open up the hip, deep bend into the left knee as well, like you're that little kind of crouching tiger. You can claw into the earth a little bit. And then straighten the left leg, right knee into chest, step it forward in between the palms. Inhale, rise all the way up into crescent lunge. Maybe a soft bend in the back knee. You can always drop it down as well or keep it lifted. Take hold of the left wrist, deep breath in. And then on the exhale, hinge to the right. Inhale back through center. Switch the wrists, hinge to the left. Inhale through center. Here we go, wild thing. Elbows down, heart lifts, peel it back. Maybe a little deeper back bend, but think of the lift up. Exhale, come all the way back up, arms reach, and hands to the earth. Plant into your left palm for a moment, okay? So left hand grounds down. You can drop the back knee if you'd like. I'm gonna keep it lifted just for a moment. And then with the right hand, starting from the outside of this right ankle, start to pull it up, even touch your skin, right? Even touch the leg, touch the shin, touch the knee, and then take it all the way straight up to the sky. Big old twist here. If you want to drop the back knee, drop the back knee. And then see if you can keep the right femur bone descending as the left hip lifts ever so slightly. So we don't want the left hip to drop and totally twist into the hips as well. Left hip stays lifted. Right femur bone drops down. Take the right arm high. Good. If you have the back knee lifted, drop it to the earth. Inhale, stay in the twist, come all the way up. Right hand comes to the back. Left arm reaches up. And use this right hand as a little bit of kind of a place to press into with the lower back. Take a deep breath in. And then very gently, super tiny, from the belly, lifting up towards the sternum, maybe start to hinge backwards. Some of you might even want to peek back and see the toes for a moment. Good, inhale back up through center. Hook your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Take your twist of choice. I'm gonna just stick with right hand on top of left. Taking the twist here, some of you might want to lift the back knee. I'm gonna keep mine down so I can talk. Some of you might wanna take it deeper, fingertips to the ground and take a deeper twist here. Totally yogi's choice with that one. Your wild thing. Practice your little place to scribble and doodle however you'd like with your body today. Let's take one more deep breath and lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, come back up through center. And take your left hand down to the inside of your right leg. Come back into your initial twist. Tuck into the back toes, lift the back knee. And then we're gonna spin all 10 toes to the right and roll to the outside of the back foot. Heel toe my right foot back a little bit, and then let my right knee kind of go towards the back edge of the mat. So I'm actually on the knife edge of both feet. Good. Take a breath and reach up. And then start to take the fingertips over towards the front edge of the mat. If this is too much, you can always drop the back knee down, but maybe try to bow out through the right side. Create kind of like a rainbow arc through the right side of the body. Good. Inhale, take it back up. Heel toe the right foot all the way back towards the edge of the mat, and then drop your left hip down. Right leg comes behind the left. It's a little bit of twister here, right? So right foot behind the left, and then keep the knife edge of this left foot down. Okay, so coming into kind of a mini wild thing, as I'll call it. Outer left edge of the left foot stays down. Knife edge kind of presses. Left hand is slightly in front of my left shoulder, and right arm's gonna extend up. Using the right foot solely planted, okay? So I'm not gonna lift up on the toes just yet. Whole of the right foot down. Push into the earth and lift the hips straight up. Sweep the right fingertips over towards the front edge of the mat. Inhale, take it back up. Exhale, drop the hips, sweep it down. Let's do 2 more just like that. Inhale, lift, up and over. Maybe bow out through the right side of the body a little bit. And then sweep it down. Last one, up. Bow. Good, this time lower halfway. Bring your right hand back to the ground, over onto your right knee. Pause here for a moment.
Oh my God,
Take a deep breath in. And a big breath out. And then go ahead and lift the left leg. Take your right arm forward. Bend into the left knee. And like you're standing on the ceiling. So it's like my foot is flexed, like I'm pushing up. Now when we do this, the belly might want to fall. I want you to zipper it back in, like you could draw your pubic bone forward towards your sternum. So even here, kind of pushing up with that left leg, and then try and hug the left foot in towards the glutes. So we're gonna keep this kind of active at first. Take your right arm back. I don't care if you find that foot or not. You can stay right here, active belly. If you wanna reach back and find the foot, you can. Maybe you kick back with the foot, lifting from the inner left knee. Into kind of an open chest, open heart, kind of slingshot the heart forward to the front edge. Some people might stay here. Other options you could play with if you're really feeling wild, maybe lift the right foot. You can drop it down, you could tent up, find your little wild thing, fingers clawing the earth with the left hand. Or you could even take your left forearm down to deepen into this back bend. Whatever you've chosen, try to square the chest back off forward, breathe in. And then slowly release. Everybody drop the left knee down, hips to heels, child's pose. Whew. Hands come forward, you can flip the palms up. And we're gonna take some really long breaths here. So try to send the breath right down into the lower back. Expand into that space. Whatever is kind of bubbling up right now, just start to digest some of those little eruptions. They're often our little body trying to speak to us in a language that maybe we don't quite understand, but it still wants to be heard and it still wants to be listened to. So see if you can just put all of your awareness and your intention there. A few more breaths. Let the forehead settle, maybe check back in with your intention if you set one. Maybe wiggle the fingertips and make sure that your claws are still there. And then slowly plant the palms. Let's come all the way back up into table. Tuck into the toes, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Bend into the knee, open up the hip. Deep bend into the right knee as well. Good, and then straighten into the right leg, knee into chest, step it forward. All the way between the palms. Inhale, arms reach, crescent lunge. Maybe a soft bend in the back knee, or you can drop it down if you'd like. Take hold of the right wrist and come up and over to the left. Good, inhale through center. Switch. Inhale through center. Wild thing with those arms, maybe your back knee is still lifted. Draw it down, scissor the legs, gather everything, bring it right up to the center, and then slingshot it up through the heart as the elbows come down. Inhale, arms reach. And exhale, take the hands to the earth. Plant into your right palm. Back knee can stay lifted or it can drop down. Take your left hand, take it to the outside of your left ankle. Touch your own leg, kind of feel that little bit of electricity as you do. Slide it up the outside of your leg and then take it straight up to the sky. Deep breath in this twist. And exhale, start to rotate it open. Keep taking the outer left hip down. Lift the outer right hip. Keep it lifted, keep it strong. It's okay if that back knee is down. And then very slowly drop the right knee to the earth. Stay in the twist. Inhale, come up. Left hand comes to support the lower back. Flip the palm, lift up. Again, scissor the legs, kind of draw it in. Think of the hip points lifting up. Back hand, lower back presses into it and hinge backwards. Now, if you want to peek back, maybe see the foot for a moment. Breathe it in. Exhale, hold. Inhale, come up through center. Hook the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. And again, yogi's choice here of the twist, so palms together, back knee can stay down, back knee can lift, maybe a deeper twist, whatever you'd like. Anchoring the left hand down into the right, right elbow down into the left knee, and then left foot down into the earth. So really feel that connection straight down that root system. And then from that grounding, from that gravity, just honor it for a moment. From there, release the wild part of your heart back up. So every twist has that element of a back bend in it. You can even feel into it here. Maybe you notice the elements of cobra rotating you up. Maybe an up dog kind of sensation. Back of the heart supporting the front of the heart. Slowly inhale, come up through center. And exhale, take your right hand down. And back into the twist. Lift the back knee. And then we'll roll onto the knife edge of the right foot, heel toe the left foot back, just about halfway at first. Let the left knee fall open. Take a breath and reach up through the fingertips, and then start to bow out through the left side of the body. So my left fingertips are almost reaching down and forward. Hips are lifting, roll the left shoulder back. And then slowly walk the left foot all the way back, even further. Left arm back up, drop down to the outside of the right hip. Step the left foot, here we go, a little twister move. Left foot behind the right. Foot comes all the way down. Right leg stays straight at first. Plant into the hand. Make sure that it's slightly in front of that shoulder. Anchor into the knife edge. And then from that place, push down to lift up. And exhale, sweep it down. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep it down. Last one. Inhale up. Bow out to the left side. Come back down halfway. Left hand down, roll and step onto your left knee. Pause here for a moment. Crown forward, right heel draws back. And then very gently lift the right leg. Plant into the right hand, and maybe the left hand is no longer needed. Bend into the right foot, and then try and stand up on the ceiling again. Navel draws in, right? So we don't just kind of let it hang down, or else we might collapse into the lower back a little bit. And then start to draw actively the right foot towards the glutes. Like you could squeeze it in towards you, left arm back. Either take a foot, or you can stay here, square the heart forward. Same options as before. If you're feeling really wild thingy, you might play with lifting the left foot up. Woo. You might come up, tenting up into the right fingertips. That's an option. Or you might come down into the right forearm. So I want you to kind of take a moment, maybe play with all of them once. I happen to like the forearm one. Just gets a little bit deeper into that back bend. But when I've got more energy to spare, sometimes it's fun to even play then with lifting that left foot. One more breath in, lifting the inner right knee up. And then slowly, everybody release. Hips to heels, child's pose, drop it in. Take the arms back by your sides, palms facing up. And just let yourself kind of recalibrate. Again, just kind of digest all those little eruptions that occur, pop up. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And then take the palms back forward. Come up into tabletop. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. All right, we got one more little flow. Right leg up to the sky. Bend into the knee. One more little garland, I should say. One more little flow of poses. Bend into the left knee. Lift the inner right knee up. This time, maybe peek over your left shoulder and just see. You can say hi. You can wiggle the right toes and the right ankle. See it in space. It's still clawed. We still got our claws. Good. And then re-straighten the left leg. Bring the right knee in. Step it all the way forward. Cartwheel it open into warrior two. And kind of anchor down for a moment. I like to think of my outer left hip sometimes, like even taking your left hand there, or you can even take like a fingertip and be like, okay, there's my left hip bone. And then use that left hip bone place to drive the inner right knee further forward. Anchor into the outside of that left foot. One of my favorite cues I ever heard in this pose, I think it was from Catherine Budig, but she talked about how if you imagine underneath your arch of your foot, there's like a little party of ladybugs and you don't want to squish them. So really lift up through the arch of the foot. And then again, kind of draw the inner right knee forward. Good. Inhale, straighten into the right leg. Turn the right toes in, hands onto hips. So I'm a little bit opposite from you now. Take a deep breath in, heart lifts. And exhale, hinge. Nice flat back, fingertips come all the way to the ground. You might walk them back in between the feet. And then press the ground forward and down. So push down and forward. And use that to start to draw the heart back and through. Keep trying to pull the inner thighs or the legs towards each other, inner thighs lift up and back. And then there's a slight drawing down of the sit bones towards the hamstrings, just to kind of protect that insertion point. Inhale, walk your fingertips back forward. Walk them all the way back to the front edge of your mat and pause. So without bringing, so for me it's my left hip, but it probably looks like the right, but without bringing your left hip forward, draw it back. And then feel that huge arch through the left side of the body. You can even walk your fingertips further away. Again, it might look like the right side right now, but you walked your fingertips back to the front edge. And again, kind of bow out, cinch in to the right side. Good. And then very slowly come all the way back around to the front. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels, ripple forward. Exhale, down dog. Again, just like that. Inhale, lift the heels, ripple forward. Exhale, down dog. Left leg up to the sky, bend the knee, open up the hip. Big bend in the right knee. Remember your little crouching kind of animal right now. Very liquidy with that movement of springing action. Some of you might even pop up into a handstand if you're feeling it. I'm not, I'm staying here. So big bend in that knee, peek over at the right shoulder and maybe see the toes. Spin them around for a moment. Claw at the air. Kind of grip what you can, lift the inner left knee up more, bend deeper into the right knee. And then re-straighten the right leg, bring the left knee into the chest, step it forward in between the hands. Cartwheel it open, warrior two. Just kind of land here for a moment. So every little animal in the jungle has to have like a little perch from which to jump from, right? So that's kind of our warrior today. Just kind of anchor down for a moment. Press down into the outside of that back foot. Outer right thigh, think of it drawing the inner left knee forward. Soften the shoulders. Let the upper body just kind of be like the treetops in the jungle, nice and loose. A little bit of doodling action allowed. Good, and then inhale, straighten the left leg. Turn the left toes in. Hands under the hips, or maybe an arms behind you, maybe an interlace of the fingers. Draw the knuckles down, deep breath in, lift the chest. Exhale, hinge. I'm gonna spin around to face you, so I'm not sticking my boot straight towards the camera. Good, and then try to shift the weight slightly forward into the ball mounds of the feet. Knuckles lift up and over, so the shoulders are not collapsing down towards the ears. They're still lifting up and over. Try to take the inner groins back and up. Deep breath in, and a deep breath out. One more, just like that. And inhale, halfway lift. Fingertips sprinkle back down onto the ground. Walk them back forward to the front edge of your mat. So this time, it should be the right side of your body bowing out, the left side kind of cinching in. So you walked your hands back to the front edge again, whichever one is opposite for you, right? Take that big, beautiful breath. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Try to get as much space between each and every rib. And then cinch the opposite side in. Slowly walk the hands back forward. Spin the feet forward. Take it back, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale with the heels. This time ripple all the way forward into plank pose. Exhale, drop the knees. Lower chest and chin, or come all the way down onto your belly. From chest and chin or all the way down into the belly, come forward into cobra or upward facing dog. And then let's all take hips to heels. Again, child's pose. I'm gonna take my knees wide on this one. Feet together. Drop the inner vines down and back. And then grip into the mat here. I'm actually pulling my heart forward as my inner thighs kind of try to drop back towards the heels. So it's kind of an equal and opposite. A lot of lengthening through the front of the body as you do this, okay? So I'm clawing at the mat, pulling my heart forward, trying to release the beast, even as the hips come backwards and down. Good. Inhale, ripple back up into table. Exhale, down dog. Right leg up to the sky. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Big bend into the left knee too. Okay, big bend into the left knee. Tent up into your right fingertips. You got your little claw kind of tented up. And then we're slowly gonna flip all the way over, take the right foot behind the left, and land with bent knees. So a little bit different than what you kind of see in your wild things. Take your butt all the way to the ground. So I wanted to take a moment. We all do wild thing in class sometimes, and it feels different each time. But I want to talk about this left leg, because this left leg is truly what deepens this back bend for us. So take it straight at first, knife edge left foot down. Left hand, again, still kind of on that angle forward from the shoulder. Right foot pressing into the earth. This time we are going to lift the right heel. Press down into the ball mound. Again, at first just keep the left leg straight, lift the hips, and open it up into your little wild thing. So from here, start to roll the heart open, gather the left hand and the left foot towards each other, and then press them down and away from one another to liberate the heart a little bit more. Exhale, slowly sit all the way back down. Whew, that feels good. All right, so this is where you guys get to choose. Bend into the left knee, that's the one that's straight leg thing. Bring it in a little bit closer. So the more that you bend this and bring it in, the deeper this is gonna become. All right, so I'm gonna bend it in. I'm just gonna bring it in a few inches at first. And then again, push down into the right ball mound, lift it up, and then curl the heart open towards the sky. Now I'm trying to get the entire sole of my left foot to the ground. Again, kind of hug in left hand to left foot, and then draw them and push them down into the earth. From that pressing down, take the back of the heart up into the front of the heart. Take your fingertips to the back of the skull and roll the chest open. And slowly release. All right, take a breath. Whew. Last one, I'm gonna bend this left knee even closer. So it's gonna be kind of the deepest wild thing yet. Left leg comes even closer. Sole of the foot's gonna come down towards the ground. Press down, lift up, keel it open, fingertips right behind the nape of the skull. Peel it back, lift. And then slowly this time, maybe you're feeling wild with it. Maybe the toes lift for a moment. Or however you want to do it, come back into downward facing dog. Flip the dog back over. Pedal out through the legs. Whew. Drop to the knees. Sit onto the heels. Hands under the thighs for a moment. Just close the eyes. And let that wave just kind of wash over you. This is what I find often with back bending is all of that current that we create, that like electricity within our bodies, our nervous system kicking in. Everything gets stirred up, and that is our opportunity to either turn towards it and allow it to move through us, or fight against it and try to kind of shove and stick that tightness or that eruption somewhere else. So just pause here and let it kind of digest through you with the breath. And open the eyes. Hands down in front of you. All right, here we go again. Palms down, tuck into those toes, downward facing dog. I'm gonna come over because I wanna see them this time. For those of you on IG Live, we're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. So from downward facing dog, take the left leg up to the sky, bend the knee, open up that hip. Good, now deep bend into the right knee. Yes, like you're that little launch pad. Good, now keep that bend in the right knee. Take the left foot, land it behind the right, and land with bent knees down. So we're gonna kind of flip it, and then land with bent knees down. Take the right leg, straighten it out, knife edge. At first, start straight. Lift the left heel, and then press down to lift up. Good. From that lift, try to gather your right hand and your left foot towards each other first, and then push them down and away into the earth to take the back of the heart up into the front of the heart. Maybe the left fingertips come right behind the back of the skull as you peel it open. And then exhale, slowly come back down. Slide your right foot in slightly, maybe a few inches. This is gonna deepen the next one. So take your choice of how far you're gonna bring that right foot in. Same idea, left heel lifts, push down to lift up. And then with that right leg starting to straighten, fingertips behind the back of the skull, curl the heart open towards the sky and lean back, and then press the back of the skull into the fingertips. Inhale, arm lifts. Exhale, sit it down. Take a breath in between. Last one, deepest one of your choice, so you can bring it in even further or keep it straight out in front of you. Maybe this time as you lift, the entire sole of the right foot comes to the ground. When you're ready, press down, kind of gather everything first. And then take the back of the heart up into the front, roll it open, fingertips behind the nape of the neck or skull, and lean back. And then just let the left arm kind of cascade like a waterfall up and over the left elbow, just kind of drips up and over. Maybe you play with a little hover, lifting the left knee up. Maybe not. Everybody come back over, flip it, drop to the knees, sit back onto the heels. Close the eyes, palms into the lap. Flip the palms so that they're facing up. Maybe there's some noises that want to escape. Maybe some little growls. And let the breath just kind of wash over you. Open the eyes. Take your heels and your feet out to the left, and then go ahead and sit back. We made it. Left top of the foot kind of lands right into the arch of the right foot. Okay, if you need to kind of prop up underneath the right hip, you can as well. We'll take our left hand over towards our right knee. And you can either have it where the palm is facing the leg, or you can turn the palm so that it's facing out. Take a deep breath in, sweep the right arm up. And then exhale, just kind of drip it down behind you onto the earth. Maybe even with your little fingertips and claws. Breath in, draw it up through the spine. And then on your exhale, twist. Maybe you close the right eye and try to peek back deeper with just the left. And I find that one of my favorite things in this pose is to actually keep my body in the twist. So staying here with the torso, keep the right shoulder drawing back, but then turning just the neck to look over towards my left shoulder and towards the toes. And inhale, take the gaze back over to the right. And then slowly unwind everything. Bring the fingertips forward. Take the feet over to the right side and sit back. So this time it's the top of the right foot that lands on the arch of the left foot. And we'll take the right hand over towards the left thigh, palm facing down, or if you'd like, palm facing out. Breathe it in, left arm lifts. Left hand comes behind. Tent up into those fingertips, little claw, sit up tall, and exhale, twist. Just got a couple little snap, crackle, pops there. So keeping the torso where it is, and then maybe just drawing the gaze back over the right shoulder towards the toes. Inhale, look back to the left. And then slowly unwind. Take your legs forward out in front of you. I'm going to keep a bend in the knees as I come into a Paschimottanasana. I like doing this to start with especially. It just makes it feel so much more accessible to my lower back. I'm going to keep a bend in the knees. Heels are down. And then I once heard it called that like the area on the inner parts of the legs, we always forget to kind of talk about it or acknowledge it in some of these poses. So I like to imagine like a line of energy coming down from the inner groin to the inner shins, out through the soles of the feet forward, and then feel it kind of wrap around the sole of the feet and then draw back up the outer side of the legs. So even maybe if you can just kind of imagine that line of energy kind of down, wrapping around the soles, and then kind of drawing up like little stirrups kind of to the outside of the right and left thigh. Take a deep breath in, arms reach, and then exhale, hinge. And you can take this where you need to with the hands on the shins, maybe the hands on the feet if you like to grip the toe, obviously your choice. And then from this place, staying where you need to be. Maybe today you just keep the belly connected to the thighs. Maybe you like to walk the sit bones back a little bit and deepen it. I like to move into it always with bent knees just to begin, and then recheck in with that kind of line and energy so that the soles of the feet don't kind of sickle towards each other. Let's take a big full breath, lengthen, and exhale, hinge. Almost like you're kind of tipping the pelvis forward and the spine is just following. A little hollowness through the belly. You're riding the air up, and exhale, fold. And inhale, look forward. Sit all the way back up. Draw the right knee in, sole of the foot down onto the earth. You can make a little fist and put it between the foot and between the leg. Right fingertips behind you, deep breath in with the left arm. And then hook the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Gentle press into it. Okay, so without letting the right knee kind of fall open. So we get more out of this twist by really engaging the left arm and the right knee together. Sit up super tall, and then exhale, twist to the right. And then if you liked that little thing with the neck, if you wanted to stay in the twist, but take the gaze back over the left shoulder. Sometimes that feels really appropriate with all this kind of lateral movement, twisting and back bending. And then slowly release. Let your right knee fall open. Sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh for Janu Shirshasana. Kind of spin yourself over the left leg. Deep breath. And exhale. Again, grab what you can. If you're an Ashtangi and you want to take the left arm long, maybe hold on to the left wrist with the right hand. If you're like, oh, that ain't happening here, Liz, then just kind of hold on to the shin and be where you need to be with that one. If that means that there's a bend in this left leg, keep a bend in that left leg. Whatever feels appropriate. Again, this Wild Thing class is all about kind of our own intuition, not always playing by the rules, but knowing deep inside what the rules are. Then inhale, look forward. Exhale, release. Take your right leg long, draw the left leg in, sole of the foot to the ground. Fist kind of distance apart approximately. Left hand's gonna come behind, kind of like a kickstand. So all the weight's not in it, the shoulder's not creeping up towards the ear, but just a little kickstand behind you. Flex into the right foot, don't forget about it. Deep breath in, right arm, and hook it to the outside of that left leg. And then anchor those two together. So the more that those two anchor together, left leg and right elbow, the more that you can start to initiate this twist, like that spiral staircase all the way up through the spine. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. And then again, if you'd like to take the gaze back over to the right, and play with what feels appropriate for you on this side, which might be totally different. And then inhale, unwind. Let the left knee fall open. Janu Shirshasana, sole of the foot in. Spin yourself so you kind of square over that right leg. Breathe it in, maybe bend that knee if you'd like. And exhale, hinge. And just start to turn inward, letting everything start to slow down. Inhale it forward. And exhale, sit all the way back up. Take both legs out in front of you. Bend into the knees, soles of the feet to the ground. This is one of my favorite images when I end a class. So we all remember as a kid, maybe you don't, but peanut butter and jelly, right? And you'd show up, you'd get to school, and the peanut butter and jelly was like so smashed together that it literally couldn't come apart. Like the bread was like so soaked through, like there was no way that they were going to separate, right? So that's our soles of the feet on the ground right now. It's like peanut butter and jelly. They're so smashed together, not coming apart ever. All right, arms up. And we're going to do a nice, really slow kind of roll down. Feet stay down, feet stay down. As soon as you want to rush through it, pause and take a breath. I find that curling into yourself a little bit. So drawing your forehead kind of down towards your pubic bone and then slowly taking it. Again, there's going to be a point where the feet want to lift. Keep them pressing down. Slow, 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 slow. And then all the way down onto the earth. Draw both knees in. Give them a little bit of a squeeze and some love. This is our third hug of the day. We still need 5 more. Hold on to your right knee. Take your left leg long and just kind of hover it. And then really push the lower back down into the mat. Like press, press, press it down. Curl into yourself even tighter. Good. And then drop the left leg, draw the right knee across the body. Final twist just to wring out whatever's left. You can even take your right hand to your left hip and kind of press, right hand to right hip and press it forward as you draw the right shoulder open. And I like to take my elbows down and push down into the ground to lift the back of my shoulders up and scoop my left shoulder to the left even more as I find this twist. And then inhale back through center. Pause, hug both knees in, just feel the difference in the sides for a moment. Maybe your left side's like super jealous. And then hold onto the left knee, take the right leg long, just kind of hover it. Peel the upper body up, press the lower back down into the mat. And then drop the right leg, let the left knee start to come over. Maybe your left hand to your left hip, glide it away from you to lengthen the left side. And then again, elbows down. I like to push them down, scoop my right shoulder over to the right more this time. And then take the twist. And then inhale, slowly come back to center. One last time, knees in, tightest ball yet. Forehead up towards the knees. Curl it in, point the toes, flex the toes, move your little claws around. And then shoot the legs forward, arms by the sides. Lie back. And drop into Shavasana. So as you lie down here, I want you to let all of the pieces of this practice just begin to alchemize together. So there's nothing left to add. There's nothing left to put into the pot and stir into the mixture. We just come into this deep simmer. And everything kind of melt back into one another. No ends, no beginnings, no separation. Feeling the earth beneath you and then feeling the lightness above you, the broadness and openness of the heart space, the collarbones. Taking up space here, just feeling into that vastness around you. Take a really deep breath in. Part the lips, open the mouth, and sigh it out. Do that again. Inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. Again, draw the breath in. Hold on to it this time. Just feel it kind of swirl around into all those little corners, little crevices, any areas where we're still gripping or grasping or tightening or holding or clinging. And then release it. And with it, just let go of any expectations and judgment of what this practice was. Getting back into this basic instinct and natural place of this wild criatura within us that needs no rules because it knows them deeply within itself. Keeping the body soft. Start to bring your consciousness just back in to the physical space. Without moving, without being in any rush, just stay as you are, surrendering to gravity. Open and receptive. Still just alchemizing all of the pieces, but feeling it bubbling inside of you from fingers and toes, and just noticing that undercurrent. Riding that wave of awareness and breath. All of that information that is stored and ready for us just to listen. That deep inner knowing that wants to be seen and remembered. And so listening to it now and taking your time as you begin to bring any movement, but try to see if whatever movement you find is new, different. Even if it feels strange, even if it feels wild, even if it feels a little bit odd. Maybe you run your thumbs over the front nail edge of the fingers, or lick the lips, or run your tongue along the roof of the mouth. Maybe you wiggle your ears. And even if you can't do it, just imagine what that would be like if you could. Find something here in how you reawaken that is on that expanse of wild and new. That each moment we can embrace with that curiosity, without rules and expectations. You can break free of these routines. Deep breath in, maybe extend the arms overhead and then draw the knees in towards your belly and give them a nice big hug. That's number 4. And roll to either side and just pause here for a moment. Taking this time. I find that in this place I often meet the truest version of myself or who I want to be before life tends to get in the way. This place of freedom and clarity and gentleness. The truth of my wild kind of lives there. So see just what you feel, what you find. And then when you're ready, pressing down, taking your time and coming all the way back up into a comfortable seated position. When you arrive, sit tall, sit broad, sit proud, sit anchored. And then feel the space around you. Take up more. Release your fingertips down to your sides, kind of claw into the earth one last time, into the dirt, into that connection, into the earth. Then take a deep breath in, sweep your arms up overhead, grabbing all that does you good and is beautiful in your life. And when those palms touch, bring it straight down into heart center. And hold it there. Coming back to any intention that you may have set. Maybe it was a thought, a wish, a prayer, someone, something. And close with an offering of gratitude to anything today that you are grateful for. I don't care how small or insignificant to anybody else. Call it to mind. And then once you have it, the first thing that pops to mind, just drop it down into the heart so that it becomes more than just a thought. It becomes a part of us, into our emotions, into our feeling of every cell of our being, that we radiate this gratitude. I'd like to close with one more line from my favorite wild book. We grew our hair long and used it to hide our feelings, but the shadow of wild woman still lurks behind us during our days and in our nights. No matter where we are, the shadow that trots behind us is definitely 4-footed. Thank you all for sharing your practice, your time, your curiosity, your humility, your playfulness, your falling, your trying again with me, with each other, with this community, with this KiraGrace family. I'm so honored to be here with you guys. Namaste.
Well, that was fun for me. I hope it was fun for you guys too.
Thank you, Liz. You are so wonderful. I needed that today.
So if you guys don't, this is literally, I'm sorry, this is my Bible of all things wild. And so if you know it, if you don't, please get it. Yeah. I hope you guys are harnessing those inner wild things, especially in this time where we're, maybe feeling a little constricted. So I appreciate you spending this time with us again. This is going to be every Saturday. We're going to be doing this, and then the kombuchas with Kira. We're going to have different themes coming up, so you'll see some of those. I think I might do one on yoga retreats, just sharing my knowledge of them. If you know people that want to talk about that kind of stuff, I'm happy to my stumbles along the way. But Kira, do you have anything else you wanted to add?
Not at all. I just feel blissed out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Liz.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Liz.
And if you need anything to know, find me. Bye.
See you next Saturday.
Kira, the Kiras.
Who's next Saturday, Kira?
I am.
Valerie, yeah.
Val, do you want to say what your class is going to be about?
Sure. So I am, sorry, it's like probably in the worst lighted room in the house, but my husband was practicing with me too, so we needed a little bit more space. So I will be teaching a class that is very focused on the breath next week. Our breath is one of the most accessible ways into our nervous system. It can relax us and it can also invigorate us. And so we'll play with that in a very breath-centered kind of continuous flow. No crazy poses. I want you more to focus on the breath next week. So that's what we'll explore in class next week. I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for kicking it off, Liz. This was great.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great afternoon, great weekend.
All right. See you next
Happy
time.
Mother's Day to the mothers.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to everyone.
And have a great weekend to everyone else.
And to everything that you're mothering in life right now.
That's
Nurturing.
right. Including yourself.
Bye-bye.
Bye.